Hello and welcome to the next episode of Scottish Football Matters with me, Lorenzo, and my good pal Murray. Tonight we're going to be discussing the weekend's action, obviously the fallout from all the weekend's fixtures, the Rangers result for Danny Rohl at Ibrox, his first win, obviously as Rangers manager, and see how they can progress from there. We've obviously got the fallout from the game yesterday between Celtic and Hearts, and will Hearts be able to maintain this title challenge? What does that mean for Brendan Rodgers and the Celtic team and squad as a whole? And we'll get right into the thick of it. How you doing, mate?
Yeah, all good. But busy weekend. I think best place to start is Saturday's games because they weren't short of action, even though the bigger games you would say were Sunday. But if we start off with where I thought there was a fair bit of controversy, Dundee United St Mirren. What I would say is that there was two main talking points, and I'm sure you'll agree. There was the free kick outside the box for handling the ball,
Mm-hmm.
which to me was on the line. I think it's a
Yeah.
poor decision and it
If
changes
it's
the game.
if it's on the line, it's a penalty.
Well, no, that's what I'm saying. If it's on the line and his hands are in the box and his
Yeah.
hands were in the box. So
Mm-hmm.
to me, it's nothing. It's just play on. And Dundee United get a free kick for this and score for it. And it really changes the game. I can't really argue with the red card and penalty later on because although it looked innocuous at first,
Mm-hmm.
but when you slow it down and the VAR micro analysing, it is high and it is late. And I can't argue with everything that happened after the Dundee United equaliser, but I think the Dundee United equaliser is just it's a terrible decision where
Yeah.
a referee, obviously the linesman's thought he's entitled to think that it's very close, but why are VAR not then going before they take the free kick? Let's check it
They should be doing that because that's the
because
whole point of
it's a
VAR. That's why it's there.
it's a key incident, you know,
Yep.
and not just that, the keeper gets booked for it. So if he gets a booking later on in the game for time wasting or whatever,
And he's
he could get
off.
sent off and he's done nothing wrong. Well, maybe the
Mm-hmm.
time wasting later on, but you know what I mean.
Yep.
But what I would say though, and it's a good result for Dundee United. Obviously, they backed up the draw at Ibrox.
Mm-hmm.
But I can't help but think St Mirren just no getting the luck over the last few weeks. I mean, I think they had a
They're
few
not.
iffy ones against Aberdeen. And I'm sure they'll hope the luck changes against Hearts midweek in the semi-final with Motherwell this weekend. But by the way,
That's,
I can't see them losing both games. The luck's going to change. I
well,
don't know where it changes, but
hopefully it changes against Hearts.
yep. If we move on to, did you have anything else to add on that game?
No, I think we've covered that. I mean, it's
Yeah,
that's pretty much the whole kind of talk. That was the
they
main
were the
talking
big.
points from it. Yep. So
If we
no,
move on to Livingston Motherwell, what I would say is good fight back by Motherwell, but
yeah,
I felt Livy were a wee bit unlucky. But at the same time, Motherwell have drawn games previously this season that they've deserved to win. So sometimes you
yeah,
just get that wee bit of luck. But Livy won't be thinking like that. They'll be like, I don't care. Motherwell, we deserved something for the game. But
yeah, exactly.
I'm, st- I'm
But
starting to worry about Livingston. I feel like
yeah,
although they're playing good football, which is commendable, it really is
hmm
because their football when they were previously in the SPL was dross. But they've come up with a style and I really commend Martindale for keeping to it and playing it, but I feel they need to go back to the old way of being more pragmatic and grinding out 1-0s and being tough to beat because I don't think they're tough to beat
To be fair,
as much as they are.
the style that they had to start with, when obviously the style they're using when they came up at the beginning of the season, they looked as if it was working, and it's obviously
Yeah,
not now because what's happened now is
it's
obviously
what a team though you're playing.
other teams have figured them out, figured the style out, and if once they've figured it out, then that's it knackered,
But I think Martindale's
basically.
a good manager though, so I think
Yes.
he'll get every ounce of what he can out of that team, and
Mhm.
I think uh, I think the luck will change at some point, but I just don't know when. If we move on to Falkirk Dundee, there was another talking point in this one because although
Yeah.
Clark Robertson scores,
hmm
then scores an own goal, Dundee should have got a penalty. It's an absolutely abysmal decision.
Again, this is the refereeing in this
I can't
country with the
I
VAR and
can't
everything else.
believe. But I can't believe that VAR looked at that and went, on-field decision stands, because
It's a
I
strange
can
one.
get why the referee gives it on field. It is.
Mhm.
It's one of those ones where it kind of just looks like a nothing coming together. But then when you slow it down, you go, "Oh, he's just swiped him. He's not got the ball." And
But if you've noticed, when they do this
but
thing where the referee gives a penalty on the field and he gets called to the monitor, it turns it around and obviously he takes it back. I've seen it happen
but
before. I've seen it happen before where he's not given it on field and then he's overturned it and gave it when he's went to the monitor. So it's the same idea.
but I have to say, Falkirk took advantage of the bad decision, the decision that went for them,
Mhm.
and that winning goal, his goal of the weekend, in it, that Connor Allen. You could not
Cracker.
believe that was a centre back. He used to play for Rangers, like, in their B team,
All
and I
right.
remember him just being a big lumpy a centre back. And Jesus, where'd you get that skill for? Like, fucking Connor Maradona there. What was going on? But good, great fun, and even the finish just wasn't like a centre back, like outside of the foot.
No, exactly.
You're just like, fair play.
Centre backs, you
Sometimes you,
don't expect that.
sometimes, and it could be a big goal for Falkirk. It really could, because they obviously got the draw with Rangers, and then they won last weekend, and like I think they went to Motherwell, didn't they, and won 2-1.
Yep.
And then they've backed that up with another 2-1 against Dundee. And I know they've got Celtic in midweek, and they're probably not expecting anything from that, but they're getting more points than people are expecting, I
Don't
think.
know. I don't know
But
about
then
that one.
it's like a free hit though, because they
I know.
picked up 6 points.
But
So
Celtic are so poor than now. You just don't know what Celtic are going to turn up against Falkirk. So I
you
wouldn't say
really
that was a
don't.
nailed on. I wouldn't say that was a nailed on home win
We'll
at the
get to
minute.
that. We'll get to our predictions in a bit on that one. If we go to Sunday, Hibs are Aberdeen Hibs. What can I say about this one?
I did predict
It
that. I
was a
said to
really
you,
Aye, I got three right actually. I got three correct scores this weekend. I got Rangers 3-1, Falkirk 2-1, and Motherwell 2-1. But I had one each in this game, and it wasn't far away. It was 2-1,
well, I
but
did say I said 3-0 to
aye.
Hibs. So
But I think the Hibs edged it, but I'm just not sure what to think of Jimmy Tilling's team. That they look so easy to play against, and I
it's
know when you're playing AK Athens, you go fair enough, maybe, right? It's the
that's affected
travel,
them.
it's
I think, but
everything,
the travel and everything, of
but
course. I think that still affected them.
but I just think that of all the teams to play against, you don't really want to give Hibs room to just
No.
run at you and attack you. And it was like a basketball match at times. And
Yeah.
I just thought Jimmy Teelan was a better manager than that, in sense of what he could keep it tight and maybe. But when you let Hibs play a game of basketball, Hibs are going to come out on top. I mean, even Rangers won't be that daft
Mm.
on Wednesday. They won't be
It's
going like,
almost. It's almost
you
as if
attack, we attack.
it's almost as if Jimmy Tillings, dare I say it, running out of ideas.
Yeah,
It
but
looks
fair
that way.
play to Hibs. They scored. That boy up front looks pretty good. That Equidji. It's
Aye.
another decent finish.
He,
Rangers are really going to need to watch out for him, because
he's turning out to be a good player.
good movement, and obviously Ewan scoring. I've not seen Ellie Ewan do anything for about 4 years, but
I forgot he was still there.
I know. But he scored a good goal, and then obviously the boy Lazatic pulls one back, but it's the last kick of the ball, and to be honest, it kind of just made it look closer than it was that game. But fair play to Hibs, another big result, and they've got a
Mm,
big test on Wednesday when they host Rangers.
yeah.
We'll go to Rangers next, because it's probably the lesser of the two big games on Sunday. Great result for Danny Rohl, and without getting overboard, because it's one game, it's home to Kelly, I could see a big difference. Not in
Yeah.
ability on the ball, but what I would say, the things that I
Just
noticed off the
the
back were,
style. Just the style.
well, style, and I just think off the ball they looked hungry to get it back. I've
Hmm.
watched Rangers every game this season, and they've not looked hungry. When they get lose the ball, they kind of just wander about. But they were hunting in packs. There was a better press,
Hmm.
and obviously the ability to go for the back 3 to the 4 made a big difference, I think. But it was 3 at the back at times, then it was 4, then it was back to 3, and having a manager who's just that wee bit less predictable, I think, is going to help us against the teams that you'd expect Rangers to beat. And that's no disrespect to Kilmarnock, but you know the games I'm on about, like
Yeah.
the home games against most of the teams that Rangers haven't been winning, because let's be honest, that's Rangers' first win at Ibrox since Dundee United last season. And let's be honest, I think it's only Rangers' fifth win at Ibrox in 2025, which is
Crazy.
just
That's crazy.
terrible. But what I would say about that is every run has to start somewhere. And I'm not saying that we're going to go and smash Hibs and smash Celtic, but none of that. But what I did notice is even if we lose these games, I can see something. And that's all we wanted with Russell Martin was, can you see what they're trying to do? And I can see what he's trying to do. And it wasn't perfect by any way, but what a difference just putting two up top was. And Danilo getting in about it and scoring a goal.
And your man Sharmiti got a goal.
Well, he did, and it's a terrible goalkeeping error. Let's not forget. And by the way, so was the Kelly goal. Terrible goalkeeping error. But mistakes happen. But strikers sometimes just need one to go in like that, don't they? To see if they can kick on.
Might be his confidence as well. That'll do his confidence good.
But obviously, Butland made a howler. But what I would say about Butland is I liked that he didn't get his head down and he made a really big save at 2-1. And that's a sign of maybe an improved Jack Butland, because any keeper can make a mistake. But
did you watch the game? Did you actually watch this? Did you see the full game? Did you go out for it?
Yeah.
Did you went out for it?
Yeah, and it was as I said, it was such a big difference just watching a team that ran. How can I say it? They actually ran about, and Diomande makes a big difference in the Rangers team. I know he has his critics, but he links things together quite well. But I think what I would say is a negative to Kilmarnock is I don't think they were brave enough. Although they're playing two up front, which is brave, I felt that they really stayed in their five, and the three didn't try to support the two. So there's no point playing two up front if you're not going to, release a David Watson to help them, or, have the fullbacks go up and join in play. And they never seem to do that. And I think they'll see it as a missed opportunity, because Rangers will always give you chances.
Well,
but
it looks like
fair
it.
Play Rangers, they've got a win, and the big question for them is, can they back it up? And
time will
we'll
tell.
find that out this week. But obviously the main game, Hearts Celtic. This is how I've seen it, and obviously you can do the majority on this one because you're obviously the fan of Celtic. But I thought Hearts started brilliantly for 10 minutes, scored their goal. Obviously, shocker by Dane Murray, but he's a young boy. I don't think people can get too hard on him. You can question Rodgers putting him in that position over an Austin Trusty. We can get to that. But then I actually thought Celtic from about 15th minute till about 35-40 were excellent. They dominated the play, got the equaliser. McGregor scored a nice goal. But the last 5 minutes of the half, I felt they did the same things they were doing in the first 5 minutes. And
giving the ball away too easily.
And they went into half time, and I thought, well, do you know what? One each, they'll take that. And if they come out with a decent attitude in the second half, but they didn't. They came out with a stinking attitude in the second half, and they didn't try. And the one thing that really annoys me when I'm watching Rangers or Celtic is I hate to see, and you must, from your point of view, you must hate to see your players outworked. Hearts players wanted it more. Celtic players didn't. Apart from Callum McGregor, who I've criticised, you know that. But he was.
That's one of the best games I've seen him play this season. He was trying to drive the team forward.
Trying, and he wasn't getting any support for Hatate. Nygren, Engels offered nothing. And Nygren misses a sitter. I have to say that at the end of the first half.
Absolute
Why
sitter,
is he trying to lift it? Just put your foot for it.
Exactly. Just blast it.
Yeah, but what I would say is Hearts done something that tells me they are here to stay. Maybe not. I'm not saying they're going to win a league. None of that, right? But when they went 2-1, they went for you. They went for the jugular, and they went for a third quickly and got the penalty. Now, a lot of teams, they get the 2-1 against Celtic and go, oh, we need to protect it. But they didn't, and I think that's commendable to Hearts. And they ran out deserved winners, in my opinion. But
yeah,
can't argue with that. Rodgers has to look at himself, because although I think Donovan's a good player, I don't think you can ever start with a back four that includes Donovan and Murray and Scales. You need more leadership in there. And for all of Tony Ralston's faults, he'll do a job. And they should have started with Ralston. I mean, Rodgers coming out and saying after the game, right, that he likes the balance of a left foot and a right footer. Horseshit. In Atalanta, when you played there, Austin Trusty started next to Liam Scales and you kept a clean
That's right.
sheet.
That's right.
Sorry, did Austin Trusty grow a right foot in Italy? No.
I
You
don't
just played.
know.
You shifted it over quickly. You didn't dilly dally on the ball.
Austin Trusty's not a bad player. I just can't understand why he's
And
not
he's
getting a
not
game.
like Liam Scales. It's all left foot. He's a cultured player. He can play with both feet.
That's right.
But yes, he's left side stronger. Yeah, of course it is.
He's
But
not perfect. He's not perfect. He's got faults, but I mean, he'd have been a better choice, I think, to put in at the back beside Scales.
and
And then your choice is you play either Donovan or Ralston. What I would have done was I would have either played Donovan or Ralston with Trusty in the middle. Well, you play if you're going to play Donovan, then you play Trusty in the middle. If you're going to play Ralston, you can play Murray in the middle. You don't play two young,
yeah,
inexperienced players. You've got to have an
I think
experienced
they've got
guy
like,
with them.
10 games between them. And you
Yep.
got to Tynecastle is a tough place to go to for the most experienced.
Anytime it's
Right.
tough. Anytime you go.
So I think Rodgers needs to look at himself and his team selection and this whole Negron wide right thing. I thought he was a winger when he signed, but he clearly
No,
fucking isn't. Because
no,
I've
no,
watched
he's
him
not.
and
He isn't.
he's clearly an 8, right? He
For
has no
me, I
other.
mean, he's an enigma for me because when Thursday night there, he obviously missed loads of chances and then he eventually got his goal. He does that more than I know. He scored. He's obviously our top goal scorer this season, and he's missed more than he's put in.
Yeah.
Do you know what I mean? It's so frustrating because
Do you know who he
he
reminds
looks
me
as
of?
if he could be a good player. You know who?
He reminds me a wee bit of Joe Aribo in that he's clearly a talented player, but he doesn't really have a position that he can nail down. And Rangers often played him wide right and then stuck him in the 10 and then put him back in. And we never really, I don't ever think we knew what the best position was for him. But because he was a good player, we kind of just shoehorned him in. And I feel it's a bit like that with Negrin, that they need to find his best position and stick to it.
See, Rodgers.
How is Rio Hatate still getting a game?
I don't know. For me, Hatate shouldn't have started, but even at that, he should have been hooked at half time. He was rotten. He was rotten. I would have played in there instead of him either Bernardo or McCowan. We'd have got a better game out of them, one of the two.
I would have probably just played Baglish on the right and put Negrin in next to Engels and McGregor and just been a bit tighter. Or that, do you know what I mean? Or McCowan.
Or what you do is what Tunisia did. You play Tynecastle on the right and you play the Balikwisha on the left.
Yeah, he's a bit of a strange one to net because he's full of absolute talent, and I think he's very similar to the Rangers player Gassama, right? That you know there's real talent there, but there has to be an end product too, though. And I think somebody told me the other day that Tynecastle in all his games, for as well as he's played, he scored 1 goal against Parkhead Thistle, and he's not got an assist yet.
No.
But whereas I look at Gassama, and he scored 5 in Europe, right? But he's not scored in the SPL, and all he's done in the SPL is set up a penalty, is win a penalty. So I don't think that either of us are getting the best out of them domestically. And what you would be honest is Tynecasse's best games have been in Europe. Like against Strumgart, I thought he was excellent. I thought he was really, really good against who was the team he was away? Red Star
Belgrade, yeah.
Really good. And he was the best player against Braga as well, even though the whole team was hopeless that night. But
sorry, you go finish.
Yeah, I just feel like there's more questions of Brendan Rodgers now about. I'm not sure that he's getting the best out of what he's got, and I know we can harp on about it's the board's fault and all that, right? But Rodgers has still got a squad.
He has to take some of the blame,
and I don't think he's getting the best out of Hatate or Tynecastle, or he's not even really playing Balikwisha.
He's not even giving Bernardo a chance. I don't know what's happened to that boy. I don't get it.
6 million.
Trusty's not getting a chance either. I mean, yesterday I thought
looked a good player.
I also thought that Simpson Pusey would have maybe been on the bench yesterday because we had a centre half crisis. It never happened. And what's going on with that boy?
See if you're playing too many young players. I mean, why not just whip Tierney over to right back and put Sarachi in at left back and just go with a bit more a defensive solidity?
And see, for me,
what's good about playing a left back at right back against somebody like Casaridis, right? He's always going to come in field, and Tierney's going to love that because he's going to be on his stronger side.
Yeah.
What he doesn't want is a left winger who goes to the byline. But if you've got, because I always found it when it's way back in the day, but when Aidan McGeady played against Rangers, he really had a good game, right? Because he always came inside, and it favoured. It just favoured the fact that he wasn't going to have space, and you were showing. If you'd went to the byline, your fullbacks would have really struggled because they couldn't defend. But when they're coming in field and getting less space, it was just like, well, what are you going to do? And Nakamura was the same, to be honest. Like, we played a centre back in Parkhead at left back, and he nullified Nakamura. Unless Nakamura played a wee bit more centrally, that's when he caused us problems. But when he was coming in on the right wing on his left foot, it was perfect for Papac because you're showing him to his strength. And I just think Rodgers is supposed to be this elite manager, but he's not showing any of those skills because I'm not a manager, but if I was setting up Celtic against Hearts yesterday, I would have started with Sriracha, Scales, Trusty, Tierney. And I know Stu said they're all left-footed, right? Aye, but they all know how to defend.
That's right.
And they all know how to keep it simple. And I certainly wouldn't have been. I'd have started with McGregor and Engels sitting. I'd had Negrin in front. Then I would have had, regardless of, I'd have had Bartley on the right or
Engels
on the right, whatever.
Engels was rotten yesterday as well. But see, for
All
me,
he is a set piece taker. That's all I'm seeing from him.
See, for me though, Johnny Kenny, never. He's never going to be. He's never going to be a striker for Celtic. Never.
But
he was terrible.
I think we can leave obviously yesterday's game. They'll obviously bring on the main talking points out of it, which is obviously the manager and the Hearts title challenge. But we'll start with Rodgers. I mean, I've seen a few people saying, on social media and whatnot, that if Celtic lose next week, they're done with Rodgers. Like a lot of the fans. I wouldn't. Are you that close to that scenario?
I say I'm getting there. You think about it, but we're 8 points behind in the league, and if we're losing the semi-final of the cup, I mean, that's it. The cup's gone. You're already 8 points behind in the league. Are you going to win the Scottish Cup? See the way we're playing at the minute. I don't
but
see
it's
us.
Also,
I don't know where our next victory is going to come from because we can't even score a goal. I know we scored
yesterday,
also, but
it's still salvageable goals. If you get a better manager in, or not a better manager, but a manager who can maybe be a bit more pragmatic and change the formation, because he hasn't at any point in this season. Rodgers hasn't, apart from there was one game where he went to a back three, I think, against Braga.
Well, he done it against Dundee, and it still didn't work.
I know, but
it was 2-0 at that point. The game was gone.
Celtic have got good players. They shouldn't. I don't think they should be where they are.
Well, for me, the likes of Rodgers. If you're going to lose, if you're talking about getting rid of Rodgers, right? If we get rid of him, who are we going to get to replace him?
The obvious name is going to be Ange Postecoglou because he obviously is just left. But are you going to get the same guy, or is he going to be a wee bit bruised and broken from not the Tottenham one, because he done a good job at Tottenham, but that Nottingham Forest job will bruise anyone.
Might not be the same. Might not be the same manager when he comes in. If he come in again, same with Lennon. I mean, Lennon was all right the first time, but when he came back a second time, he wasn't as good.
Speaking of Lennon, what did you think of Did you see the Lennon and Sutton argument with a wee bit with Boyd kind of in the middle, just trying to noise up Sutton? But what side are you on with that one? Because I could see Sutton's point, right? I could see that Sutton was right, that a manager can only work with the tools he's got, right?
I'm on Sutton's side, I have to say.
But what I would say about Lennon is he did make one good point, that we cannot pretend that every manager gets the window that they want.
No, I know that, but he came out and said it wasn't a bad window. How can you say that wasn't a bad window?
No, I think it was a terrible window. But at the same time, what I would say though is that Celtic should still have a squad capable of being able to do better against Dundee and
they should
and Hearts, and maybe we can always lose at Tynecastle.
And no disrespect to any of the Scottish teams, but Celtic should be able to beat any of the teams on any given day.
Yeah, but as you can see over the other side of the city, poor recruitment can really cost you. And let's be honest, I mean, Rangers bought a lot of players that clearly aren't mentally up to the challenge.
No. They're not fit to play for the club, obviously.
By the way, some of the players are talented. I'm not even going to argue that. I think Joe Rothwell's a cracking player.
But
But
he's
he's not
obviously,
suited to
you're
Rangers.
saying he's no good enough for Rangers, that's what you're saying?
He's not. He might be a fabulous footballer on the ball, but you need more than that. I mean, Barry Ferguson actually said one of the things that last season, he said, you can't just be a talented footballer. It's not enough at Rangers.
Mm-hmm.
You need all the other bits. It's the fact that you're willing to run and chase and realise that one day you can be playing Barcelona, then the next day you're playing Alaba, and you still need to have the same mindset in both games.
That's right.
But what I would say is that it was an interesting debate, and I think that Lennon was wrong on the transfer window bit, but I think Sutton was wrong on this constant backing of Brendan Rodgers, that he needs to realise that when they cross that white line and when he picks the teams, I don't think he's doing enough either. And I think everything's a problem at Celtic right now.
Yeah.
But if we move on to Hearts,
Now, the last thing I was going to say on it was the fact that he's now committed him. He's committed. He's obviously in the past wee while he's committed himself to the 3-year contract, so he's not going to leave Celtic. So if Celtic want to change things, they're going to have to sack him. But have the board got the gumption to sack him? I mean, I don't know.
Look how long it took them to sack Lennon in that COVID season.
I know exactly. Far too long, but we'll move on anyway.
Most people knew it was over in like November, wasn't it? And
definitely.
February, wasn't it?
Even October, I would have said, yeah. But anyway.
But Hearts, I mean, is this a real challenge, or do we still think it's only 9 games and we need to calm ourselves?
I'd say at the minute it's only 9 games. See if we get to December, January time, and they're still in the mix in terms of at top of the league at that point, then you can start to think, well, they're title contenders then.
Do you also think that it's maybe just blown out of proportion because of how bad Rangers and Celtic have been?
I would say that. I would say no disrespect to Hearts. I mean, I know they're doing all right, but see if Celtic and Rangers had a clue about them, the Hearts wouldn't be in the position that they're in.
Well,
simple as that.
What I'd say is that Hearts would be up there because
they'd be up there.
The other teams.
They wouldn't be top of the league though. They'd be up there, but I don't think they'd be top of the league.
Even if you take out the Rangers and Celtic ones, they'd still be right up there because
within a couple of points. But it wouldn't be as big a gap as it is. That maybe be a couple of points.
It wouldn't be as big a gap if Rangers and Celtic could do what Hearts are doing, which is take care of the other teams. Celtic shouldn't be losing at Dens. Rangers shouldn't be losing. Well, not draw, but shouldn't be drawing 6 games.
Well, if Hearts can do what they're doing, in terms of this Jamestown analytics thing, I'd love Celtic to get some sort of a clue when it comes to analytics like that and look into things like that to get players on the cheap the way that Hearts are doing. You know what I mean?
What I would say
can't be that difficult.
See, if I'm honest, right, and obviously if you look at it from a selfish perspective, I think if we are within 6 points of Hearts in January, I'd be very confident of catching them.
So would I. If it was Celtic,
But I think right now we just need to take care of ourselves and try to rhyme up. Because I can't see us going on, winning 7 or 8 games.
Well, at the minute, how many points behind are Rangers to Hearts? 13?
13 and 5 behind.
Well, there you go. It's massive,
but it is massive, but at the same time, if Rangers win 3 games and they lose 3 games, it's
early enough. It's early enough in the season for it to be clawed back.
Let's be honest, and I'm not saying this is going to happen, but if Rangers beat Hearts in the other 3 times we play them, right, it's 4 points.
That's right.
So we're not asking for this massive fall off.
Who's to say that Hearts are only going to lose to somebody else?
I think
Celtic,
we're going to
Celtic
get
might beat them
because they need to go to St Mirren on Wednesday. And I mean, I'll do my predictions in a bit.
They'll be on a major high for beating Celtic, though. They'll be on a major high for beating Celtic.
Yeah, but Dundee were on a major high for beating Celtic, and what happened?
Well, I know, but Hearts obviously have been good all season.
They have, but there has been frailties there though.
There's been times when they've actually rode their luck and won a game and they maybe shouldn't have won it. But that's what happens.
It was Dundee United they were quite lucky against with goalkeeping errors, were they not? And the Hibs one was the last minute, wasn't it? And
yep, very last minute.
And let's be honest, I'm not going to harp on it, but they know the game at Ibrox. They certainly got the rub of the green that day. With every decision. But if we move on to obviously predictions, there's 5 games because obviously one of the games is taking place previously just during one of those cup weekends that think it was, is it Dundee and Livy or whatever. But
Yeah.
if you look at the games, we'll start with Celtic Falkirk. How do you see that going?
But as I said, it depends on what Celtic team turn up. If Celtic turn up and want to win the game, they'll win the game. If they don't, if they play the way they played for the majority of the game against Hearts again, it'll be a struggle. I can only go with the team. I mean, the team we've got, it's threadbare. There's a lot of injuries. Who knows?
What's your score then?
I'll go for 2-1 Celtic because I still think we'll concede a goal.
So I'm going to go 1-0 to Celtic. I think it's going to be a really tough, stodgy night, but they'll find a bit like they did against St Mirren at the start of the season. They'll just find a way, but it won't be pretty. So next game we've got Motherwell Dundee United.
Mm-hmm.
I'm going to go one each on this one, just because they're both doing all right. But I think that Motherwell are going to have one eye on the weekend against St Mirren. And I don't know. I just think that game's got a draw written all over it. But by the way, I wouldn't be surprised if Motherwell won. I wouldn't be surprised if Dundee United won.
I'm the same. I'm a bit like that. I'm on the fence for that one. I'm agreeing with you in terms of it could be a draw. I think if it's going to be a draw, I think will be a draw. But I'm going 2-2 rather than 1-1.
2 each. Right. Okay. If we go on to St Mirren against Hearts, this is where I'm going to go for a first shock. I would say I'm going to go St Mirren 2, Hearts 2. I think that St Mirren will find enough to take a positive spin into the weekend with Motherwell. And I think that's what they need, because they need to stop the run of defeats that they've had over the last few weeks. I think they've had a few defeats in games that they maybe haven't deserved. They certainly not deserved 0 points from 9 at the last 3, but they've maybe not done enough to win games. So I'm going to go 2 each. And you need to remember that there was a draw last time they played there, wasn't it, in the League Cup, and St Mirren won on penalties. So St Mirren know how to. It's not like this Hearts team's unfamiliar to them. They played this exact game in the Cup. St Mirren were the better side, and Hearts were probably lucky to get to penalties.
Yep.
That day,
I'll go.
I'll go.
I'm hoping for a St Mirren victory, but I suppose I'll go for 2-1 St Mirren then, just hoping that they can dig something out.
Okay. We've got Kelly Aberdeen. That's a tricky one, because I honestly think that if it goes bad for Jimmy Tillene, it's done. I really believe that. I think if he loses tomorrow night, it's over.
Could be.
What's your prediction? I'll let you go first while I think about it.
I think they'll get beat. I think they will. There's a possibility they could get beat. I'm edging toward that, like a 2-1. Yeah.
I was going to say 1 each.
Or even a 1-0, Kelly. Could be one of the kind of games.
I'm going to take Watson to score at some point, because I just think they've got more about them, Kelly. Easter Road, Hibs Rangers.
Yeah.
I have to say I'm happy it's Easter Road, because I think Hibs are worse there than they are away from home, because I think, as I've said all season, they're set up to counter-attack. And that 3 at the back of Hanley and Bashiri, they get exposed because the fans make them go forward and attack. So I think Hibs might dominate the game, but Rangers will win. That's my prediction. I'm going to say, what did I put down here? Okay, I put 2-1 Rangers down. And I'm going to say that Hibs will probably be the better side in the first half, but will find themselves behind somehow. And I think Rangers will see it out. I'm just going to say 2-1, but it wouldn't surprise me if it was like 3-2 either.
Yeah.
But I just think Rangers will have enough about them to. I actually think, see, if this was at Ibrox, I'd probably predict Hibs. But I think there's something about the fact that when Hibs open up at you, it exposes their frailties. And I think if you can get, and I know Rangers aren't all there, but Danilo's movement is good. He might not be the greatest striker in the world, but if Miovski can find a bit of form, they're going to get space in around Hanley and Bashiri. And also, I think Hibs always give you opportunities to get in behind with Gassama space and Magoma. And I think it's all set up for Rangers.
Well, I'll say,
But by the way, I
obviously,
wouldn't be
Rangers.
surprised if we lost.
No, I know, but I'll say Rangers will be on a high for their win at Ibrox. They probably will be favourites. They probably will win the game. I'd say 2-1, but I'm hoping for a Hibs victory. But I'm assuming the Rangers, after
Right,
the
what you on
weekend,
about?
will win it.
Hibs are closer to you than we are. I need to be scared of them. It's the Edinburgh teams that are going to have this title race at this rate.
Yeah, I
But
know.
no, I do think Rangers will sneak it, and we'll see what that means for the weekend, because obviously we've got the League Cup semi-finals,
Mm-hmm.
and obviously we'll do our predictions for that on Friday.
On
And I think there is
Friday, yeah.
some league games, isn't there? Because I know
Yeah.
Hearts are playing in the league,
Mm-hmm.
because there's an opportunity for them to go 11 clear,
Yep.
which I don't always buy into this, that it means much, with this whole. I think games in hand, they still matter. You've still got an opportunity to do it. It looks great on paper, but
I know,
it
but
doesn't mean as much as people say.
I'm of the mind that if you have the points on the board, that it's better for you to have the points on the board.
Yeah, but sometimes it's just about getting that run, and sometimes when it gets rescheduled, you can get it rescheduled at the right time, and you get
Ah.
better, fitter players.
Oh no, well that's another
Because
point.
Celtic might not play this game till like January, February time.
And we'll have Lisa Jota back in that. Yep,
Exactly, because of new signings.
that's
Which
right.
I always find mad, because I remember we had an Old Firm game and it got moved, and it was like none of these players would have been bloody eligible if it played when it meant to play. Do you know what I mean?
Yeah.
And it's like, what? It's just a bit. This guy shouldn't be playing.
Mm-hmm.
No, but no, I think it'll be an interesting week. But it's nice to have a full midweek round of fixtures.
It is for a change, yeah.
Yeah,
And we'll
I
see how
think
it
this is the
goes.
one, and then we've got another one in December like this. So I'm
Uh-huh.
fairly sure we've got a midweek card at the start of December, and it's like a nightmare. Like, because I think we try to fit about 12 games into December. You know what we're like in this
Oh
country.
no, they always do it. Yeah,
Like 4 in February, 12 in November, December though.
I
Get
know.
in,
Crazy.
right? But we'll leave it there.
Yep. For
Right.
another one.
Right.
Right.
See you
Thanks a
later.
lot, mate. Cheers. See you again.
Right.
Right. Cheers, mate. Bye bye.